Hi, everybody. It's DelusionDispeller here today. We're going to have a different type of live today. I decided to make my Proverbs video a live video just to see how that goes. It's something different. I don't think I've ever done it before. Usually I just do videos and I leave them videos. But since so many people have enjoyed the lives, I thought maybe I would go live today since it is a Sunday. And some people use this day for church and other people can't get out to church, so I thought that I would go live instead, so you won't have to worry about not being able to get to church. I will be right back though. Good morning. I will be right back. I need to get some light in here. All right. I am in my bedroom this time, not the kitchen, for a little bit of a change, a little bit of a more relaxed atmosphere. I'm going to be talking about the book of Proverbs today. It's chapter 11, just from my viewpoint. And of course, in light of everything that's going on right now with the Watts trial and the situation there, and also just in general in life. So if you are not a Bible person or it offends you, now would be your time to hop out of the room, because I don't want to offend anybody at all. It is my interpretation. Here's my disclaimer. The views that I'm about to express are my views and my views alone, at least as far to my knowledge. It's my own interpretation. I believe the Bible is not of any private interpretation. There is one truth, and I believe I know what that truth is, but I'm not a proselytizer where I feel a need to demand that everybody follow exactly in my way. That's something between you and your creator. But I am going to share some viewpoints based on the book of Proverbs, and it's going to be chapter 11 today. I thought I'd open it live. That way, if people want to chat or offer opinions or viewpoints or whatever, you can. So I have some notes here. I've done a little bit of research into the meanings of a couple of the words. I'm only going to go as far as verse 15, as this proverb is extremely lengthy, and I get bored easily. ADHD brain, I can't help it. All right, so we're going to start with verse 1. First of all, I'm going to pray. Father, just honor this time and let it be glorifying to you. Let the people that come in here to hear this from what I believe is your express words, let their lives be changed for the rest of those lives. Let them find knowledge and wisdom and hope and understanding that can help propel them forward in their own lives and help them find the answers that they need. Bless each and every one that enters here today. Let me be a blessing to them. And I pray this in your most holy name, the name that is above every name, the name that I don't believe can be humanly uttered and that no one knows. In your name, amen. All right. Hi, Catherine. Hi. All right, so we're going to start with Proverbs 11, verse 1. You can talk about whatever you want in the text. I'm fine with that. It says, the Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him. Now, to me, that just means God hates dishonesty. Somebody else may have a different interpretation, and I welcome everybody's interpretation to be shared today in this open chat session, this live show. If you have a different interpretation, please do bring it to the screen. To me, I just believe it means that God doesn't like crooked people. He doesn't like people that are phony. He doesn't like people to be dishonest and hiding things that ought to be expressed. He likes accuracy. He likes strategicness. He likes specifics, from what I understand of him to be. All right, verse 2. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. A lot of these verses just kind of speak for themselves. If you're going around being pompous, I don't think that's pleasing to God. But if you walk around realizing that he's your source and that you can't do anything without him anyway, I believe that's pleasing. Because that's kind of how his son entered this earth. Some know him as Yeshua or Yahushua or Jesus or whatever you know him as. He was a very humble man. He didn't go around riding on a white horse, proclaiming with a megaphone, I'm here to save everybody. I'm here to make everything wonderful for everybody's lives. He didn't do that. He came very humbly. I don't think he was a loud, boisterous, obnoxious man. Although I will say, I've done temperament studies, and of all the temperaments, melancholy, choleric, phlegmatic, and sanguine, he has all of them in a balanced form because he is God. As far as I'm concerned, he's God. I believe that they are one. Um, but he was very humble about it. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't in the news, like in our news. He wasn't the latest story or the top report. He was just who he was, kind of like I strive to be. I'm just me. I use YouTube because it's a better way to reach more people. I don't use it so I can make a name for myself or, woohoo, look at DelusionDispeller. She's really something. I just come on and share because I love people and I believe I have a message that's worth saying and that somebody needs to hear and that maybe it'll save somebody's life. Maybe it will better somebody's life. That's why I do what I do. And in his case, this person's case, Jesus, Yeshua, the Savior, the Lord, whatever you call him, um, he came giving answers if people will just hear them. And a lot of people don't want to hear them because it takes them out of their comfort zone and it holds them accountable to things that they don't want to change. We all have those things in our lives that they're like our little pet hobbies, little secrets that we have, little things that we don't want to give up, we don't want to change. We have held on to them like a security blanket. And he's basically saying, if you want success in your life and if you want to have a happy eternity, these are things that you need to do. So it would behoove us to listen to what these things are, just so we know. All right, so number 3, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. So I read that word, and I'm not one who lets things go. I like to know why? Since I was 2 years old. My mother would tell you, I could never just accept anything at face value. I had to know why. Why do I have to do that? Why does that matter? Why on earth, would you expect this of me? I want the whys answered. Well, I wanted this answered. I read duplicity. I'm like, what on earth does that word even mean? So this is what duplicity means. Good morning, Barbara. Duplicity means and this is from Webster's, the idea of doubleness is at the core of duplicity. Duplicity comes from a Latin word meaning double or twofold. And its original meaning in English has to do with the kind of deception in which you intentionally hide your true feelings or intentions behind false words or actions. I thought this was excellent in light of the Chris Watts situation and that fake interview that he did. That was definitely a very duplicitous interview. He was hiding his true feelings and his true intentions and the true actions behind this phony, I don't know where they are, bring them back, come back wherever you are, come out wherever you are. The Wizard of Oz type of thing, which is also applicable if you know anything about the Wizard of Oz background. But it says the integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their double-mindedness, their flip-floppiness, their hiding their true selves, their true selves. So integrity of the upright. To me, integrity means, like, I talk to my husband about integrity all the time. That was one of the first things I taught him, if you want to say I taught him anything, was if you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't play around. Don't play head games. Have integrity, dude. Integrity. It's all about, doing what you say you're going to do, being who you say you are. Don't come online and say you're somebody you're not. Don't be phony. Don't be fake. Speaking of fake, I have eyeshadow on today, guys. See? Isn't it pretty? It's blue eyeshadow. It is fake, but sometimes I like to wear it because it brightens up my face a little bit. I don't see anything wrong with wearing makeup. I don't even see anything wrong with wearing lots of makeup if that's what you want to do. There's so many more important things to focus on than people putting paint on their face. Seriously. Just, I don't care. For me personally, I don't like my cleavage showing, and I don't like wearing gobs of makeup, and I don't wear big gaudy earrings. Although if I had some hoops, I probably would sport them on here. Seriously, I love hoop earrings, and I love dangling earrings. So, oh, that's cool, Catherine. So anyway, I didn't mean to get off on the tangent of makeup, but since we are talking about integrity, just because you wear makeup does not lower your integrity. It's your actions that lower your integrity. If you tell somebody you're going to be there to pick them up, and there aren't like circumstances that warrant you're not getting there exactly at that time, then by all means be there to pick them up. Let them count on you. It's about dependability. That's another thing about integrity. So if you have integrity, the integrity of the upright guides them. That means that's going to lead you through life. You're going to be known by that type of trait. I know, Naisha, that's what I've heard. Well, I used to have big ones, but they're gone now because I lost a bunch of weight, and that's one of the first things to go bye-bye when you lose the weight. So, and I'm not on here trying to flash my chest to get subscribers by any means. I don't really seem to have a problem getting subscribers lately. I have to talk about what they're interested in talking about and give some kind of answers and directions and hope to people. So that seems to work. All right. Anyways, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. So we just talked about what duplicity is. It's a doubleness. It's saying one thing, doing another, presenting yourself as one thing and not being that thing. And they're destroyed by that. The unfaithful, the ones that you can't count on, are destroyed by not being integrous, by not being somebody you can count on, by not being able to trust their word. Some of us know somebody like that in the news recently. That would be Chris Watts. We're going to talk more about that whole Watts thing in line with all this eventually. Yes, Naisha, we definitely will be doing that. We definitely will. You have to let me know what time works for you too. Are you a night person, or it's kind of hard for me to do videos in the morning because I work and I go to work around 7-ish. So if we were going to do an early morning video, I'd have to get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So just let me know what you're thinking as far as that goes. All right, verse 4. Wealth is worthless in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. Let's talk about this day of wrath. Some people don't believe that, when you die, there's going to be a judgment. There's going to be a day when you answer for whatever you did on earth. And if you don't, that's cool. I respect that. That's your belief. I personally believe there will be this day that comes. I don't necessarily believe it's going to be a day where people that did their best on this earth will be punished. I think that's between God and those people. Just like my relationship with the Creator is between me and Him. I think that's something that we'll all know when we get there, pretty much. But I think somebody will give account for what they did on earth, if nothing but to just answer about it. Why did you do this? What were you thinking? Not that He doesn't already know what we're thinking. Wow. God be with those people. Give those EMTs and specialists the wisdom and knowledge to know how to deal with that emergency, and loose your peace that passes all understanding into that ambulance right now for that person. In your name, amen. I have to pray every time I hear an ambulance, because I know what it is to ride in an ambulance, and I know what it is to end up in a hospital, and it's scary. And I pray for those people when they go through that kind of stuff every time I hear an ambulance. Anyway, back to what we were saying. So I believe there's going to be a day that comes when, oh, you found my email. Okay, awesome. All right, Naisha, I'll be looking for that email soon. There'll be a day that comes, I believe, when we will stand before our Creator and talk to Him about what we did on this earth. And in that day, it says wealth is worthless. You're not going to bring your money with you. You're not going to bring your fancy cars, your mansions, your riches, and your wealth. It's not coming with you. It has to stay here on this earth, maybe for your children, your children's children, whoever, but it isn't going there with you. It's not coming. So I'm just letting you know that, which you probably know already. But people forget that sometimes. I think the Kardashians sometimes forget that this is not the end game, according to my beliefs anyway. There's more after this, and all your beautiful bouffant hairdos and your plastic surgeries and all the stuff that you did to make your body shell look gorgeous, which you do. You look awesome. You look marvelous. However, your looking marvelous is not going to seal your fate in eternity in any way, shape, or form. So do what you need to do down here. I mean, I'm not going to diss you on that, but it's not going with you. So I hear you, Nasha. But righteousness delivers from death. Being right with Him, that will get you through. That will get you a good eternity. Being a good person, having a good heart, having a relationship with God, your creator, that will get you there. That will get you in right standing in eternity. And also, it will bless you down here, most likely. So, just something to think about. Verse 5, the righteousness of the blameless makes their path straight, but the wicked are brought down by their own wickedness. That pretty much speaks for itself. If you're going to do good things, you're going to go in the right direction on a straight path, not going over here, over there. I can tell you this from experience, which a lot of people have thrown up in my face lately. My past was nothing to be proud about. Nothing to be proud of. Nothing. I was ziggy-zagging everywhere in my life. I was doing things I am too ashamed to even want to talk about, although I will talk about them. I was with every kind of guy and creature on this planet. At one point, I almost got attacked because of my wrong choices. When you are not living for Him, my viewpoint, my belief, you're going to be all over the place. You are literally going to be making choices that are so impulsive, so crazy, people will think you done lost your mind and gone off your rocker. I thought I had gone off my rocker. Oh, good, Nasha. I'm glad you like it. So you need to be careful about that kind of stuff. Make sure that you're right with God, because He's the only one in the end that matters. And all these people that think, oh, there's no God, I can do what I want, blah, blah, blah. You're going to do that for a time on the earth. And one day, all that's going to end. It's going to be over. And hopefully by that time, you've already found a relationship with Him. But if you have not, all those wonderful things you did on earth, yeah, it was fun. You'll go out with a bang and whatever. But then what? Just something to think about again. Just then what? It's ended. So maybe to you, you're saying, well, delusion dispeller, well, Laura Beth, it doesn't matter then. At that point, I'm dead. Okay, you can own that. You can have that belief. I'm not going to stop you. I'm just saying, if you believe there's something after this, all this goofiness that you're doing on earth, all these things that make you so happy and everything and light your fire, they're not going to go beyond this. They're not. It's going to be done with. And you're going to have an accountability after that. And if all you did was just fill your vats with riches and party on, dude, that's going to be it. That's all you're going to have to show for this life. And if you're okay with that, that's cool. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying I'm not okay with me leaving this world behind, knowing that I could have done some things that were beneficial for others and for Him. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to use my righteousness to deliver from death. Not my righteousness, but His righteousness in me to deliver me from death. Okay. And to make my path straight on this planet. And the wicked are brought down by their own wickedness. Now, whether you're brought down on this planet or in the afterlife, you will be brought down. You will be on your face before the Creator, proclaiming Him as your Lord, as your ruler, as the one over all. Whether on this planet or otherwise, it will happen. Mark my words on that one. Everyone is religious on their deathbed, yeah. And people in need, a lot of them call out to Jesus even though they don't believe in Him. So, heck, he's even popular enough to be a cuss word. Think about that. Probably why He said not to take His name in vain, but I'm just saying, people say the word Jesus. They say it. Now, whether you call him that or whether you believe that's his name is beside the point. The point is people know there's somebody greater than themselves, than on this planet. There's somebody out there, if not in here, that's watching all this stuff, that knows what's going on, that knows what you're going through. There is. All right, next. Verse 6, I believe we're on. Or make sure I covered all of that. Yeah. Okay, the righteousness of the upright delivers them, but the unfaithful are trapped by evil desires. Again, this talks about right standing with God that will set you free here and in the afterlife. So we don't need to belabor that point. 7, hopes placed in mortals die with them, and all the promise of their power comes to nothing. To me, that speaks of idolatry. Like, I don't know, whoever you admire in the news, whoever you admire in the movies or TV or whatever, if you're putting your hope in them, it's coming to nothing. All the promise of power comes to nothing. It also, if you think about narcissists, power posturing. Oh, if you'll join with me, if you'll promote my name, my cause, my ministry, whatever, I'm going to make you the top worship leader. I'm going to put you in this position. I'm going to make you somebody. But it says right here that hopes placed in mortals and human beings die with them. All the promise of their power comes to nothing. Those people are human. Their promises often come to nothing, literally. And with a narcissist, they always come to nothing. You don't get that promotion you want, or it ends up being nothing like what you thought it was, or that position. You may become the big worship leader, but then eventually you fall from grace, as they say. I'm thinking about the guy that wrote, I believe you're my healer. I believe you are all I need. That's a guy that pretended he had cancer. Yeah, he was a big time worship band leader or a player in a worship team or whatever. I think it was for Hillsong. I'm not sure. But look what happened. Pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. And be sure your sin will find you out. He was pretending he had cancer so he could get donations. Lord only knows what he did with the donations. But he turned out to be crooked and wrong and lying. That was his downfall. I'm telling you, when you turn away from a relationship with your creator, you are in for a heap of trouble. It's been shown over and over by everything that has gone on in people's lives. It's evident to me that that's what happens. So yes, if you put your hopes in mortals, when they die, those hopes die and your promises don't come to anything. You need to put your hope in him. All right, I'm going to page down a little bit so I can read my own notes. And if anybody has a different translation on verse 7, please bring it to the board or to the screen, I guess you say. All right, number 8. I'm only doing 15 because then I'm going to do the next 15 on a different video because it is almost time for me to go pick up my husband around 9:30-ish. So verse 8, the righteous person is rescued from trouble, and it falls on the wicked instead. I never noticed this verse till today when I was reading it, actually. I mean, I've always heard about righteous people being blessed and righteous people being rescued and saved and delivered and set free. I didn't see the second part of this. So what it's saying is the righteous not only are rescued from trouble, but the wicked people will get the trouble that was heading the righteous person's way. So let the haters, the vipers, the dissenters, the naysayers, the whatever, say what they have to say. He will deal with them. And yes, that does not stop me from having comments and retorting and replying because I am who I am and I'm going to say what I want to say. But ultimately, all the trouble they mean to put on me is going to turn around. That arrow is going to go bam, right back at them. I think there was some little kid phrase that said bounces off me and comes back to you or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty much what this says is going to happen. People that are being mean to you, people that are mistreating you. If you are in right standing with God, he'll deal with them. Yes, karma. Good word. And actually, even though that's kind of a new agey term for what you reap, you sow, or what you sow, you reap, sorry. It's the same thing. What goes around comes around. That's another saying that explains it. It's right here in the Bible. Karma and what goes around comes around, all these little phrases we say many times originate right here in this book, the Bible, because the Bible's been around a long time. And yes, you'll have your pagans and your witches and maybe your Satanists or whoever say to you that this book is not as old as our book. We have Sanskrits and whatever scrolls from way back when, before Jesus was even here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's your belief, whatever. I believe that the Bible has what I need. So that's what I follow as much as possible, as closely as possible. I realize there's other books written out there, and I don't know enough about theology to tell you, this was formed in blah, blah, blah AD before Jesus cried his first cry or shook his first rattle. I don't know all that stuff. I just know that when I follow this, it works for me. No, I believe it'll work for you too. People argue with me, yeah, but why did this happen? Why did this person die of cancer? Why did this? I don't know. I am not God. Ask him. And he may not tell you because he might say none ya. Because some things just happen and we're not always supposed to have all the answers on this planet. One day we should have those answers. Because you're going to know all things because you will see him as he is. Right now, we only know in part and prophesy in part and see in part. So part is what we get, people, part. Don't ask me questions about the perils of the universe because I honestly do not know why I don't have cancer and somebody else does. Why I'm not struggling with chronic fatigue syndrome and someone else is. Why I don't have Lyme disease and my sister-in-law does. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, it was some sin in their life or it was something they did that they ate wrong or I don't know. I really don't. I know that if something happens to me, the only one I know to run to that always helps me through stuff is him. I've tried relying on people and they're not always able to be there for me. And sometimes they're there and they're more of a hindrance than a help. So I just know to go to him. And that's all I know. All right. So verse let's see. Verse 7. Hope's placed. Oh, we already read that. I'm sorry. Verse 8. Nope, we did that too. Verse 9. I'm so human. With their mouths, the godless destroy their neighbors, but through knowledge, the righteous escape. So now we're on verse 9. Don't go there with the Shanann and Chris Watts thing about this verse. Let me read it again. With their mouths, the godless destroy their neighbors. Okay. So people are going to chime in when they watch this video and say, what are you doing? You're destroying Chris Watts. You're destroying Shanann Watts. You're destroying the memory of the people that passed on. No, I'm not. I'm giving a viewpoint. It is not all serious like that. It don't go all extra, as the one person in the class that I help with says. You don't need to be all extra about it. The godless. First of all, I'm not godless. The godless destroy their neighbors with their mouths. That's about people being ugly to each other, okay? People that don't have God. They're just going around bad-mouthing people. People that are supposed to be their neighbors, people they get along with, people they live around. Godless people. People that are just speaking of their own trashy stuff in their head. That is not somebody that is godly. And neighbors do not mean every single person in your life. Not everybody is your neighbor, or this book wouldn't talk about enemies. There is a difference between your friends, your neighbors, your enemies. This is talking about your neighbors, people that you should get along with. And if you are a godly person, you will get along with as much to your ability as you can. You will at least be at peace with them as much as possible on your end. That doesn't mean they're going to be at peace with you. Example, I had some people living behind me that were torturing their pit bull dogs. Oh my gosh. I prayed and prayed. God, please remove them. Get them out of here. Please. I don't want to hear those dogs yelping and crying for help and not be able to do anything. I called animal control. I called the state. I called the government. I called everybody I could call to come and rescue those dogs. Now, I don't know to this day, months and months went by. I do not know to this day how they were rescued or how the guy went to prison. But apparently, the guy that was doing it went to prison. And I guess his father moved away. It took months. It took months of having to go out my door and see and hear stuff being done to those animals. It was torture on my end because, as you know, I love animals as much as I love humans, really. Um, it broke my heart. But ultimately, justice was done. Those animals are now out of that situation. Those people no longer live there. They moved totally out of the neighborhood. I don't know where they moved to. I pity anybody that has to deal with that. Seriously, it was absolutely awful. But I lived godly with those neighbors as much as possible. When you're torturing an animal, my godliness, although I can love you through the Lord, I suppose, I can't handle it. But I didn't go over there and harass them. I did not put up signs against them. It wouldn't have done me any good because they would have come and attacked me. Most of these people are like members of gangs and stuff where I live, so you don't want to go there. But the point is, I lived godly and at peace with them as much as I possibly could. And God dealt with the rest because that's often what has to happen. So I didn't destroy my neighbors. Um, though at times I might have liked to get over there and say some things that I would regret because I would lose my dignity over what I had coming out of my mouth. But I didn't. And it also says that through knowledge, the righteous escape. My knowledge was you might not want to tread on that territory. Probably not a safe idea. You don't want to go over there and stir stuff up. Just pray about it and report it to the authorities. Try to watch your back because they know where you live. Obviously, they're like almost right in my backyard. So I did. I just prayed for protection every time I'd go in and out of my door. And I did pray, God, if I'm in the wrong, show me. And if they're in the wrong, move them on because those animals do not need to be going through that. They do not deserve that. So, end of story. Done deal. They are gone. I don't have to deal with it anymore. I don't have to hear those poor puppies crying. All right. Number 10, I believe we're on. Oh, hang on. I think I might have gotten ahead of myself here in my comments. Yeah, okay. Yeah, think before you speak. Exactly, Barbara. All right, verse 10, when the righteous prosper, the city rejoices. When the wicked perish, there are shouts of joy. All right, so when somebody prospers and they're good people, they're righteous people. Where is this? I am so sorry. I'm totally losing my place here completely. Oh, right here, verse 10. Oh, let me back up a minute to verse 9. Sorry. I think that is. We're talking about the knowledge. Let me find my place. But through knowledge, the righteous escape. I was talking about the pit bulls, and I totally got off topic there, or off my notes. I am not destroying Shanann Watts. Somebody already sadly and devastatingly did that. I am not destroying Chris Watts. He's doing that to himself pretty good. What I am doing is commenting on the fruit, and by their fruit you shall know them. And yes, there are plenty of verses in the Bible that talk about rebuke a brother in sin, cast out the dissension bringer, and trouble will cease. We could go there, but that would take too long for me to do all that research. So all those that are like, do the judge not lest you be judged, you might want to read a few more verses than just that, because there's a lot more in the Bible that talks about holding people accountable than there is about judging them. Just saying. All right. So if you want to go there and start the whole, well, you attack Shanann, you're not honoring the memory of the dead, etc., that's not at all what I'm about. I am pointing out flawed child raising characteristics, flawed treatment of a spouse. Before we knew Chris had any possibility of doing whatever, the way she talked to that man was despicable, in my opinion. So, all right, anyway, because I know inevitably somebody's going to try to bring that up. You know, what are you doing to Chris? What are you doing to Shanann? You're judging them. You're tearing them down. You're destroying them by your mouth. Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not. All right. Okay, so, and we'll go back right up to that. I think there's a lot in this verse 9. But through knowledge, through what? Knowledge. Knowing the red flags. Knowing the truth, the righteous escape. You need to know the truth, and the truth will make you free. But first, you need to know the truth, which means most likely reading this, maybe listening about it if you can't read it, and living it. That's how you're going to escape. That's how. And that's how you will have the life where you're not going to be constantly attacked and abused by people. All right, verse 10, here we go, finally. When the righteous prosper, the city rejoices. When the wicked perish, there are shouts of joy. People are happy when a righteous person does well, but they also celebrate the downfall of wickedness. That is human nature besides just being in the Bible. When somebody that is a right-standing person gets honored or blessed in some way, people are thrilled about that. But on the flip side, we human beings delight in the idea of wickedness falling. So it's not just me right now thinking, man, I want justice to be done. I want this person to be taken care of. I want them to pay the penalty. It's not just the parents of Shanann and the other people involved that want that. It's a lot of people. And if it's not about this case, it's about something, because that is how we all feel. When the wicked fall, we are happy about it. Nobody wants a wicked person in charge. Nobody wants a narcissist running things. They don't. So right here in the Bible says the same thing. All right, now we are on verse 11. Through the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but by the mouth of the wicked it is destroyed. That just means have a righteous person, a good person in charge. Don't put people in charge who don't have a good reputation, who just delight in constant bickering and debates and wallowing in stuff they ought not to be part of. You don't want those people in charge of you or anything you're doing, because they will bring it down. They'll destroy whatever you got going. Don't make a leader, a person a leader in a group if you know their reputation is not a good one. You'll just come to ruin. All right, verse 12. Whoever derides their neighbor has no sense, but the one who has understanding holds their tongue. Again, I can hear it now. I can feel it in my skin. Those little vipers with their little tongues, their forked tongues, coming to devour me, or the haters, or the deriders, or the dissenters, or whatever you want to call them. They're going to jump on this one. Verse 12. Whoever derides their neighbor has no sense. DelusionDispeller derides her neighbor all the time, so that means she has no sense. Okay, first of all, I never said I had sense. I just said I speak my opinion, okay? To a lot of people, I look senseless, impulsive, goofy, crazy, fly by night, whatever, moron, whatever you want to call me. I'm used to it. It's fine. I am who I am. Now, the word derides means to laugh or make fun of someone or something. This, I believe, means a sense of unjustness, like somebody that you're putting down for no good reason, like a person that is mentally challenged, for instance. If you're mocking them and going, that's deriding somebody, and it's wrong. And believe me, I deal with that every day where I work, people making fun of the mentally challenged people or physically challenged people. That's deriding. That's, I believe, what this word means. Laughing at or mocking or making fun of somebody or something. So I think it's an unjust way. Not in the sense of explaining wrongdoing of someone like I do with Chris Watts or Shanann Watts. It says that the person lacks sense. And you need to realize that sometimes we lack sense because there is no sense to be made of something. Right now, I'd say the majority of people watching this Watts trial lack sense because we don't know what's going on. And a lot of times the stories crisscross. One time it makes sense this way. Oh, no, it makes sense that he did it. Nope, she did it. We don't know. So we lack sense. So could we be guilty of deriding somebody in the sense that we're trying to make sense? So we're imitating Chris, we're imitating Shanann. There's a fine line there. I'm not going to say no, but I know in my heart it was never and is never to just mock somebody or make fun of them for the sense of, oh, I'm better than you and I'm going to put you down. That's not my heart at all. So it says that whoever derides their neighbor has no sense, but the one who has understanding holds their tongue. They're going to jump on this too. Well, you don't hold your tongue. You talk about it all the time. Again, I believe it's talking about holding your tongue in the sense of not being vicious with your tongue, being ugly towards somebody with no reason. I am not being, or I'm not meaning to be ugly towards Chris or towards Shanann because I don't know the full scope of what went on. I am looking at the behavior and being ugly towards that because I'm pretty sure God is ugly about that kind of stuff. He thinks that's terrible behavior to have your kid hanging off a sink and not go and help them. He says if you don't even give a little one a cup of water, it would have been better that a millstone be tied around your neck and that you're drowned in the depths of the sea. So he sees that as ugly behavior. And I'm just simply pointing out and saying, don't do this. This is ugly behavior. This is behavior that is not healthy, not toxic, not godly, not nurturing. That's what I'm doing. So is that deriding? I don't believe so. Just my opinion. Verse 13, a gossip betrays a confidence, but a trustworthy person keeps a secret. Obviously, that stands for itself. Need to be careful what you spread as rumors and gossip, myself included. Very easy to get into gossip around the workplace or wherever you go. If you're talking about something with an evil motive in your heart, just to tear down a person, I believe that's slanderous and gossip. If you're talking about something to discuss it and try to make sense of it, maybe to use it as private prayer time, not to run to the church and bring it as a prayer request. It's not what I mean. I mean, in your own prayer closet, your own time with God, then I see no problem with it. But there's a fine line again between gossip and something for the sake of trying to reach out and help somebody or to pray about something. It just depends on your motive. It always depends on the motive. All right. Verse 14, we're almost done. For lack of guidance, a nation falls, but victory is won through many advisors. That just means make sure somebody else is standing with you if you're going to give direction in an important decision. You need to be careful that there's comfort in a multitude of counselors. We all need accountability. No man is an island. No man is flawless in their decision making or their judgment on things. So even when people have called me on the carpet on things, I look at that stuff and I think, do I do that? But if I don't do it, I'm not going to admit to it. I'm not going to take blame for something I'm not blamed for. Okay, but if you bring something to my attention, I'll consider it. Like people have said, well, why don't you film with a wall behind you? Why don't you clean your house? As you see, I have taken that into consideration. And with a little bit of my work money, voila, I have a kitchen floor now. It's not a big one. It's not a full floor, but it works. And it will be a full floor when we put the boards down. So I do entertain what you say to me. I do listen to it. But if you're accusing me of something and I'm not guilty, I'm not going to say I'm guilty. I'm not taking the blame for something I didn't do. All right. Not that I never do, because there are times you're supposed to, own something to kind of save face with a person or help them feel better about themselves. Because it's not a big deal to be blamed for something. If it's a minor issue, then you can just say, oh, I'm sorry that it came off that way. But you didn't mean it in your heart. You didn't mean something to come off that way. But you can say, I'm sorry that it came off that way and own it like you did, because it makes the other person feel like you're validating them. It's okay to do that sometimes too. And I do that. It just depends on the situation. I kind of try to pray a lot and think a lot about what I say and how I handle things. And I'm not perfect. Sometimes I don't handle it right. Sometimes I get a bit feisty, but that's me. All right. Verse 15. Whoever puts up security for a stranger will surely suffer, but whoever refuses to shake hands and pledge is safe. I'm going to leave verse 15 up to anybody that wants to share about it, because I really don't know what that means, and I don't have any footnotes on this Bible to look it up. But it's Proverbs 11, verse 15, and that is the end of my sharing on Proverbs 1 to 15. The next time we will do 16 to 31, I believe. I wanted to break it in half because it was just such a lengthy proverb, and it's just too long. It's too much to deal with. So I thought I would just break it up a little bit and talk about a little bit at a time. I'm glad I'm almost out of the book of Proverbs, because it's a really long book. And no, I will not be doing any Old Testament books because they are super long. I might do the book of James next. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards, because James has a lot of really good life lessons in it and direction. So yeah, it could, Sandy. That's what I thought it meant too. Anyway, I just popped on to do that. I'm going to go off of here for now. And I do still have to do the book of Matthew. That will be on a different videotape. Maybe I'll do it live. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But I wanted to get at least part of my Bible stuff done because I need to catch up a little bit. Anyway, we will see you all later at some point, probably today. If not, sometime in the week. Usually it's daily. So I don't make any guarantees because I don't know when I'll be on here again. But I need to go and pick up my husband shortly. And right now I need to go eat some breakfast. So y'all have a good morning. And hopefully Naisha and I will get together by next week and have a live side-by-side or up and down chat for you, so you can see both of us talking. And we will see you there or sooner. Bye for now. Happy Sunday.